Hey everyone, this is Dave with Mile High Drone Services, and what we're going to talk about today is the case that we have for the large display remote ID receiver we sell. So here is the bare bones remote ID receiver that we've been selling for a couple months now, and we now have a case that will hold this guy along with a battery. And here is the finished product. We can go ahead and turn it on. It's initializing. So it's now scanning for drones. Here's a remote ID transmitter we have to emulate 12 drones in the air. We'll go ahead and turn that on. So it's now emulating 12 drones, and you can see the receiver is collecting the data. And let's go ahead and turn this off. And then we have added some changes to the firmware to allow you to turn this off, which obviously if it's on a battery, that's what you want to do. So to do that, you just, whoops, it's uploading the data to the cloud, and it will fail because I don't have it connected to a Wi-Fi router. And in a second. We just scroll to the power off screen, like that. Now it's uploading the data to the cloud again. And it's going to fail because we're not connected. And it powers off, so that's good. The case does need assembly, and what we're going to show in this video is how to assemble it. We sell the case in this form, so if you've already bought the bare bones remote ID receiver, you can just buy a case and put it together yourself and install it. If you are purchasing a remote ID receiver, you have two options. You can buy just the receiver itself, or the receiver and the case that you need to assemble, or we will assemble it for you for a minimal charge. And here is a 1S battery. Whoops. So if you've got 1S battery that'll fit it, that's great. If not, we'll sell it to you, and we'll also provide you a link on Amazon if you want to purchase it yourself. The only batteries that we found on Amazon that will work are this size, and they're sold in 2-packs. But what's really nice is they have the right style connector, so you don't need to cut the existing connector off and solder in the right connector. So having said that, let's open this unassembled case up and show you the steps on how to assemble it. Once you've done it a few times, it doesn't take too long. The first time does take a little while. Plan on 30 minutes of your time to assemble this guy. So anyway, tools you need. Let me go get the tools. Okay, here's what you need for tools. A couple very small Phillips head screwdrivers. These usually come in a variety packs. You can get them at any hardware store. They're very inexpensive. In fact, you've probably got one in your basement if you have a tool shop. If you've got eyes that are over 40 years old, you might want to get some reading glasses. You can get these at Walgreens for like $2 because the parts on this are very small. And you need a little patience, and that's all you need. So let's go ahead and open this guy up and try to zoom in on the camera and show you the detailed steps. So you open this. There's another baggie which has all the pieces. Open that up. So you should find 4 real tiny screws, 2 longer screws, and then looks like 5 plastic parts that need to be inserted. So let's modify the camera so it zooms in on all this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble this case with the battery. The first thing we do is we're going to work on the case that's got the 2 buttonholes in it. So the first thing we take is this piece here, which if you look at one end, it looks like it has a T in it. The other end is just a plain button. We want the button down with the U also down, and we put it right there. So we should see that. Next thing, the reset switch. One end has a plus on it, or an X. The other one is just a round button. You want the round button on the outside of the case, and you'll see a pin here that's sticking up. You want the button to go between the pin and the case. And I've got an unhappy kitty cat. Like that. The next thing is we take our display RID module. If it still has a protective plastic on it, you take that off, and we put it like that. So you should be able to push the buttons while holding it in place and hear it clicking, which we do. Okay, so here comes the most difficult part. First, if you don't have great close-up vision, put on your reading glasses, and you see we've got 4 tiny little screws right there. Those go, one goes there, one goes there, one goes there, and one goes there. And the screw does not go through the receiver. It goes on the side of the receiver, and the head of the screw is what holds it into place. And I was doing yard work earlier and trimming the bushes, and the bushes got the best of my fingers, so that's why I've got all the band-aids on. Well, here's the first one. And we'll put the second one in. My kitty cat is not happy that she is not up here helping me. Okay. Now these 4 screws are the most difficult part of this whole process, and it just requires patience. And a steady hand helps. And we've got the 4 screws in. So the next thing you want to do is make sure that the buttons still work. So if you should hear them clicking. If you don't, you've probably screwed these in too tight. So that is it for that part of the case. Now we go to this part of the case. You see these 2 orange button covers? If you look at them, you'll see a little bit more orange on one side than the other as far as the flat part. These will only go in one way, and you want where the excess orange shows to be towards the out, towards over here. So that one goes in, and don't worry about it if you don't see it, because if they don't go in, you just try the other one. There. Next, we put in the back cover plate. And you want the totally smooth side facing the inside of the case. And then there's a groove that slides in like that. There you go. So if you don't have a battery, the next step is to put the case together, and that's not too difficult. You just line up the guides of this guy and put it in there. Since we do have a battery, let's plug in the battery. The red lead, which is a positive, goes on the left as you're looking at it this way. And so you just line up the connector, plug it in, and it clicks in, and there we go. Now we just need to deal with the wire. And this is the antenna here. So you don't want to cover up the antenna with the battery. Okay. And so now, when you're moving the thing around, you gotta be careful not to knock those guys loose. So you just put that in. Oh, the battery fell. So actually, the easiest way to do this is with no battery, of course, but one hour battery, is to take this and then you hold these two pieces together, and then you put your finger against this back plate. And that way you can keep the battery in place. Helps put it out. Then you line up that back cover plate into its slot, and then this will snap into place, and we're done. Well, almost done. We put in these two long screws. There. Take our handy little screwdriver. There we go. Like I said, we've got a magnet on this thing, so we have a piece of metal plate. You stick it on there. We've got it on. Let's go ahead and turn on our remote ID transmitter. It should turn white. Yep, we're getting data. And to turn it off, we just hit the bottom button until we get to the power off screen. Right there, push that. It says it's powering off. And we're done. So I hope you found the video informative and helps you assemble the case if you buy it unassembled. One word of caution is once you put this thing together, and let's say you bought it and didn't have a battery in it, now you want to open it back up, well, all you got to do is remove these two screws, but it really locks in tight here, so you're going to kind of have to be careful and work it to release the latching mechanism on this side. It is perfectly doable. It just, sometimes that thing's really latched in tight. You just have to be a little careful. That's it. Thank you very much.